Live from the 607, it's the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour, where we're talking everything going on in the world of sports. Join in the conversation on social media with the hashtag ODPH, because here we go.
Instead of looking deep inside, every word I have to say, keep it simple.
Welcome to an all-new edition of the ODPH podcast. What is happening, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us this week. My name is Ken M. Joining me in studio, as always, you know him. He's the co-host. He's a statistician to the stars. He's the man of 1,008 aliases. His name is Padawan J.
Oh, let me talk to you.
And boy, we have a lot to talk about in the land of sports.
Yeah.
This is a big weekend, especially if you're a pro wrestling fan. It is Wrestlemania week, so we are going to have that as our main event. But there are some stories we have to get into beforehand, and then we definitely want to talk after the show. So, Pad, where's everybody going?
ODPHpodcast.com.
From the blogs to the classified section, which has friends of the show such as 3FM Podcast, Dragon Master Games, Nerd Initiative, and many more. The classifieds, Pad, how many providers are we on?
909,113.
Because you can find them in the classifieds, but that's the directory, and that is why he is a statistician to the stars, folks. And your source?
Trust me, bro.
So wherever you're listening to the ODPH on, first and foremost, thank you for checking us out. Leave us a review on your favorite podcatcher. It definitely helps the algorithm of the show out, and that's always great because it gets people listening to the show. More people are getting introduced. Boom, boom. It's a winning combination.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a good way to say it, but let's be honest. That's how we grow the show, and that's how we've been doing it for almost 8 years now. Scary to think that's the case, but
I know. Good Lord.
Here we are.
Good Lord.
Last but certainly not least, we have an amazing music section where you can find such bands as Brian Wolf and the Howlers, Second Suitor, Shout Out the Robots, Floodlands, and Tom Jolu. Shout out to Tom.
Hey, yo.
Just had a record release party locally here in the 607, making big things. Very cool to see the vinyl release of his last album.
Love a good vinyl.
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff going on there. So if you want to find out more about Tom, and you should because Tom's amazing, along with everybody else that we mentioned here on the ODPH, it's very simple. Go check out ODPHpodcast.com. And if you're on social media, why not use the hashtag ODPHpod? Kicking off the Sports Edition, Pad, we have to recap a very interesting fight night.
Oh, Lord.
For the UFC.
Yeah, uh-huh.
UFC 314 took place. A lot of storylines we were talking about on last week's show came to fruition and then some.
Yep.
So let's break down the card, shall we?
Yeah, so this took place this past Saturday from the Casilla Center down in Miami, Florida. Over 18,000 folks in attendance. Should note, was announced during the broadcast, former two-time champion, women's bantamweight and women's featherweight champion, Amanda Nunes was going to be the next in the modern wing of the UFC Hall of Fame.
Well deserved.
All by the way, she's coming out of retirement.
I heard rumblings, and I'm not surprised. But whatever she wants to do at this stage, she can call her shot. She's the GOAT.
Nunes versus Cyborg 2?
I'd love to see it, but obviously UFC contracts and all that.
Yeah.
That's the only hiccup there. But
yeah.
I think if Nunes is coming out, she's got her eye on somebody.
Yeah, I would say she ain't coming out for small pennies either.
Maybe it's Kayla Harrison. That's the only one I could think of top of my head. That would be intriguing enough.
All right. And before we get into the main card, there is, I know, one fight on the prelim card that was on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus that you want to talk about, and that was the main event of the prelim card in the featherweight division, where Dan Ige defeated Sean Woodson via TKO in 1 minute and 12 seconds of the third round.
Really did not agree with the stoppage here. Mm-hmm. Really thought it was premature.
I agree with that.
Did not agree with this at all. I know the commentators were saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Very questionable stoppage, but, I understand the referee has to err on the side of caution.
Sure.
Because, let's face it, we're dealing with human life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, did not like the stoppage one bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's always a gut decision by the judge unless they're, very obviously unconscious. But that's the one thing the judge has got to make a split-second decision, because no matter what the sport is, no matter who the athlete is, male or female, they're always going to say, oh, I'm good. Like, I can't keep going. They might have, their arm hanging on by a thread, in terms of like muscle and bone and whatever else. But like, they're like, no, I'm still good. I can still go. And obviously to the detriment of their future health, you have to say, no, you're done. So split second decision by the judge. But yeah, I think you got this one wrong.
I agree.
Then getting into the main event, your first fight on the main card was the light heavyweight matchup where Dominic Reyes defeated Nikita Krylov via knockout, 2 minutes and 24 seconds of the first round.
Well, Reyes is on the comeback trail.
Oh, baby.
I mean, we thought about when he allegedly beat John Jones way back when, and then really suffered some roadblocks on the way after that.
Mm-hmm.
He's now put together 3 fights back-to-back
Yep.
wins, all by knockout.
Yeah.
So in a 205 division that's really up in the air, this might get him back in that title picture very, very quickly.
At the very least, it's his put him back into the top 10 for the light heavyweight matchups. He has moved up 3 spots to the number 8 ranking. The only folks ahead of him are Khalil Roundtree at the 7, Alexander Rakic at the 6, Jan Blachowicz at 5, Jamal Hall-Hill at 4, Carlos Ulberg at number 3, Jiri Prochazka at number 2, and your number 1 ranked fighter in the light heavyweight division is Alex Pereira, and obviously the light heavyweight champ is Magomed Ankalaev.
Yeah, so there are some fights you could make there. I like the Blachowicz idea.
Oh, I do too.
So we'll have to kind of wait to see how that plays out. Mm-hmm. But for Dominic, I mean, he needed this fight, I think, more than people realize.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of weird to say, but when you have a fall from grace, and granted, it wasn't like he completely fell off.
Let's say it's not like he lost in the first 30 seconds of the first round.
Right. But when you
come off losing 4 in a row.
Yeah, it's never a good thing. But to see him bounce back, this has been a good step in his right direction.
Yeah.
And I think one that we need to see more out of it, if he's really going to be a legit champ. I mean, like I said, I know he's already faced Blachowicz way back when.
Sure.
But
that was a while ago. That was
2020.
2020, so going on 5 years.
Yeah, so you could run it back. I think that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So
say he lost to him, he lost to Prochazka, who were both ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can bump him up past 5 at this stage.
Right.
But granted, there's a lot of uncertainty with that position right now since Pereira lost.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going to do the immediate rematch, you have to come up with some exciting fights.
Sure.
I think running it back with Blachowicz is not a bad thing at this stage.
No.
I really don't. But I don't think you can go higher on the rankings.
No.
So
any higher and you're pushing it.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll have to kind of wait to see where it plays out from here.
Next up was the featherweight matchup between Jan Silva, who defeated Bryce Mitchell with a ninja choke submission at 3 minutes and 52 seconds of the second round.
You know, we talk about fighters breaking their wills.
Oh, baby.
Bryce Mitchell was broken in this fight. And this was when Silva showed up and imposed his will and then some. At one point, I know I was talking with our favorite MMA fighter, Vince Iatoli.
Yep.
And Vinny was saying the same thing. He said it looked like Bryce was gassed.
Yeah.
And had no answer.
Yeah.
And Silva just completely smothered him.
Full deer in the headlights, didn't know what to do or how to counter.
Right, and I think because Silva came in there with the mindset of he needs to take him out and make a statement of him.
Dude went full Ivan Drago. I need to break him and make him humble.
Oh, completely. So now is going to be a very good question about where Silva goes next. Because I will say they're not going to run this one back anytime soon.
No real reason to.
No, obviously not. But I know for the fireworks there, it's going to be tough because it's a great feud. But for where we're going to go from here, that's a really good question mark. Because
looking at the featherweight rankings, he has just entered those rankings, and he's currently ranked number 11.
Well, I mean, if he's there, I could see him getting bumped up in that like maybe 8-9 range.
So let me give you this. I'll give you 5 through 10.
Okay.
Well, I got to give you 2 because there's 2 people tied for 4. Tied for 4th place is Yair Rodriguez and Mosvar Evelev. 6 is Arnold Allen. 7 is Brian Ortega. 8 is Lerone Murphy. 9 is Aljamain Sterling, and 10 is Josh Emmett.
I'd love to see him in Sterling.
I was thinking the same thing. Either him or T-City Ortega.
I mean, yeah, either way, you're not going to go wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of exciting fights that could happen at that stage. Sterling, I think, would give him a little problems because he is very good with his striking. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, T-City, listen, that'd be a great fight for him at this stage. Because the one thing is Silva does have a good buzz around him right now. So if you have a good buzz around you right now, take advantage of it, get a big money fight. Mm-hmm. Ortega would be a great one if they want to go that. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, just don't go to the third round with him. I'm going to say that because that will not end pretty. But thinking the win streak that he's on right now, that's a fight I would make.
Rocket possibly strapped? We'll see.
We'll see,
We'll see.
but listen, I'm not going to make any arguments against right now. He's definitely earned it. He's got the buzz, so capitalize on it. Him and Emmett would be a fun fight too.
Ooh, yeah. Next up was the second of the 3 featherweight fights that took place on this card, with Yair Rodriguez defeating Patricio Pitbull by unanimous decision. All 3 judges scoring the contest 30-27.
I will say this. Arguably, the biggest disappointment of the night.
Yeah.
Pitbull, if you've ever seen him fight outside of here, Bellator, he's a legend. And I hate thinking back to when we've had fighters come in from other organizations.
Okay.
And we talk about those first fight jitters, and everybody's very tentative to do what they normally do.
Yeah.
Like the bright lights of the UFC throw
Sure.
everybody off. I mean, I think we remember what was it, Hector Lombard when he came over from Bellator, kind of had the same problems.
Yeah.
And then some of the fighters that came over from Pride originally.
Ben Askren comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, that was one that, he definitely was not prepared for the moment that he was in.
Yeah.
I think the same thing happened with Pitbull, which I never thought I'd see coming,
Could
but
be.
this is one of those weird situations where, a fighter just is not ready for that primetime spotlight, and this came back to haunt him at the worst possible time.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think if he had won, they would have gave him an instant title shot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the featherweight division is a lot deeper than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
It will be interesting to see where he goes from here.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I'm looking at the stats here, courtesy of ESPN.com, because UFC 1 page isn't loading right now. Hey, we do it live. But out of the total strikes, it looks like Yair Rodriguez landed 97 compared to Patricio's 23. And then for significant strikes, there were 70 significant strikes compared to 17 from Patricio Pitbull. 38 headshots to 8 from Patricio. 18 body shots to Patricio's 2. Leg shots 14 compared to Patricio's 7. And the ever important octagon control, which hashtag ODPH pod, if you're a former judge and can explain to us how the hell this works.
owning the center of the cage.
It's got to be more than that, but please let us know.
Yeah.
And then takedowns. What is it? Yair attempted 1 and was successful on 1. Patricio attempted 4 and was successful on 1.
Yeah.
But it's about as one-sided as it gets.
Oh, completely. I mean, I don't think there's any way around it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a sad case where, for Pitbull, the moment was there.
It's not a bad first step, but it don't help.
No, it definitely doesn't. So now you have to kind of think, where does he go from here?
Mm-hmm.
I think if they don't do the Ortega fight with Silva, that's the one I would do.
Right.
And I think that'd be a real test to see where he is. As far as Rodriguez goes,
Yair, like I mentioned before, tied with Movsar Evelev for number 4. And obviously you should go without saying, but I'll mention it anyway. Patricio Pitbull, not ranked.
well, yeah, I was going to say I don't think he would be ranked, but I would not doubt them giving him someone in that 8 to 12 range.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't doubt that. I don't think they give him Silva.
No.
I mean, they could. It's not a bad fight per se, but I just don't see them going that way.
No, probably not.
But for Rodriguez, I think maybe we have some answers in the main event.
Could be.
We'll go from there.
Before we get to the main event, we got to get to the co-main event of the evening, and this was in the lightweight division where Paddy Pimblett defeated Michael Chandler via TKO at 3 minutes and 7 seconds of the 3rd round.
Well, are we ready to crown Pimblett as the real deal?
Hell yeah, baby.
I think you have to.
You got to consider it.
I mean, he went in, took care of Chandler, pretty decisive in my opinion, and now the UFC hype train can't deny him getting in that top 5.
No.
You can't. This was a bad loss for Chandler.
Yeah.
Completely. This keeps him pretty much out of title contention, I think, for the rest of his career.
Probably, unless weird things happen.
Well, I mean, injuries could happen. He can always step up. But I think at this stage,
Chandler is dropped what is that, 3 or is that a 5? Holy shit, that's 5. He dropped 5 spots to the number 12 ranking.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, Patty jumped up 4 spots to the number 8 ranking.
Well, Chandler has not been on exactly the highest of fight streaks.
No, he's in fact now on a 3-fight losing streak, losing to Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, and Paddy Pimblett. His last win was Tony Ferguson back in 2022.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really feather in the cap at that point.
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson now ain't the Tony Ferguson of old.
Right. So there's nothing really right home about.
Yeah.
I hate saying this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you listen to this show long enough, you know where I'm going. There's only one fight you can do whenever that guy decides to return to the cage.
If he decides to return to the cage,
Right.
he's with that other federation. It's not a UFC.
Well,
but
he
it's
owns
MMA.
it.
Yeah, that's
No,
what it is.
but he's an owner there.
Yeah, so he's busy with that, and he's going to get his payday through that, so he don't care.
Well, the only thing you do is let Chandler go over there to fight him. I mean, if you want to do that, you can do that, because I think right now...
Dana would never do that.
Never say never. I mean, the one thing about Chandler is of the Cerrone cloth.
Yeah.
He will fight when you ask him. He is not picky about that. He's going to go in and entertain the fans. He's going to go in there and go out on a shield. That is everything you want from a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Chandler, you can keep around in that division, and I'm sure that there'll be a fight that can jump up that makes sense.
Oh, sure.
Because now at this stage, Chandler needs a big money fight. He's not a contender anymore.
38 years old, and he will turn 39 here in another 11 days.
Yeah. So you're left with a few options. And I mean, very few options.
Yeah.
As far as the MMA goes. You either wait for Conor.
Which is insane.
I mean, it's insane, but
That's insane.
But what else are you going to do? You have to wait for another star-making fight to happen, like somebody moving up from 145 to 155. Chandler is there to meet him. But it would have to be somebody, like on a Diego Lopez level.
Sure.
If, and I stress if,
right,
that was the case.
Right.
Or you just outright let him go and he goes to WWE.
I mean, I have him fulfill his contract, run out the fights. I'm going to give him some fights. I'm not going to give him, schlubs, but I'm going to give him some decent fights. Hopefully you get something flashy out of it, and hope you get your money.
Well, that's the only thing at this stage. Like he's definitely put in the track record. He is box office.
Yeah.
So you can plug and play.
He's been at least consistent enough that he'll show up to a fight. He'll put in his best work. He's not going to coast through. So
right.
you'll at least get something out of him for however long his contract is.
Right. You'll get something. But at this stage, as far as competitiveness,
right,
and for rankings and all
right,
that.
and he's not exactly a name like Anderson Silva was at the end of his career, where like you can feed him to some of the newer guys as like a litmus test for how they're going to do. Like, yeah, you can feed him to new guys, but like it's Michael Chandler. His fame isn't from UFC.
No, well, I mean that's the whole point. Well, he's been a great fighter in other organizations. Coming in now, I mean he's definitely earned his spot in the UFC. But at this stage too, Father Time is against him.
Yeah,
his record I believe is 2-5 in the UFC.
I can look that up. Yeah,
so it's not exactly warranting him still being around and being a factor in that lightweight division. I think for him, he really has to sit there and go, what's the next big money fight I can get? If the Conor is there, you can do that.
You are correct. It is 2-5.
Okay. I thought it was right around there.
Yeah.
So he's a sub-500 record. If you let him go, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Because I guarantee you he would be smart and go to WWE.
Oh, he probably would.
And it would make a lot of sense for him to go there. He can cut a promo. He has a very big future there if he wants. But it all depends on what he wants to do.
Didn't they have him on an episode of Monday Night Raw?
Oh, yeah.
Like back before it was on Netflix, it was on USA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He cut a promo right there.
He called out Conor too, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, like I say, he would have a good future there.
Yeah, he could do it.
Like I say, I don't think he'd have a long career there, but he'd make he'd make an impact. It would do his thing.
Couple money fights.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, because what else is he going to do here? And that's the only thing. You can give him somebody that's up and coming if you want, but I don't know.
It's not going to mean much.
That's one problem. So I think in this situation, that's going to be a problem that they're going to have to find an answer for. Mm-hmm. But as for Pimblett,
oh baby,
very simple. You give him somebody in that top 3.
Book him at Anfield. Do it now.
Well,
for those of you who don't know, that's the football pitch in Liverpool where Patty's from.
Yeah. So now you kind of have to go who's available, and I think there's only one fight that jumps out to me, and that's Justin Gaethje.
Okay.
I think this is the one that out of everybody there, I think Gaethje's kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit. I think this would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then if Pimblett beats him outright, like if he beats him convincingly,
Yeah.
he gets a title shot.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
You bump him there.
Yeah.
That's the one very interesting point that they have to do. So
There's a few names in there that like you pitch the idea and I'm like, all right, you can sell me on that.
Well, I think that's the one that's big enough that's box office.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure Oliveira's name would get thrown in that mix too.
Probably.
That's another one. But I mean, I don't think they would do anything with Tupuria, who's moving up.
No, probably not.
So I think that kind of eliminates that. And then who else do you have that's not involved in that top 5?
Well, I'll just give you a top 5. Number 1 is Armin Sarukin. 2 is Oliveira. 3 is Gaethje. 4 is Max Holloway. And 5 is Dustin Poirier. Then you got Hooker is at number 6. And then Matsuts Gamrot is number 7. And then you got Pimblett at 8.
Yeah. See, that's why I say I think the Gaethje fight makes most sense.
It's probably what it's going to be.
Yeah, so I'd be all right with that. But I mean, you could literally plug him in anywhere. But now you have to give him somebody in that top 5.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deny it.
He's on such a run, where his last loss he wasn't even in the UFC. He was in Cage Warriors back in 2018.
Well, I think now he's starting to face names in this lightweight division.
Yeah.
So you can't deny him. Like I can understand the skepticism with the hype train.
Oh,
because
sure.
We have been down this road many times before.
Oh, sure. Comes in his first fight in the UFC, second fight. Not hell, first fight too. Knocks out his opponent in his first fight back in 2021. 4 minutes 25 seconds of the first round. All right, maybe it's on there. Who's to know? Rear naked choke submission win in his second fight. Again, first round. Then he comes in his third fight against Jordan Levitt. Rear naked choke submission win there. That was in the second round. So, there seemed to be something there, but is it a flash in the pan or is it something legit?
Yeah, that's the question mark they're going to need to find an answer for. So I think give him Gaethje, see what he does there. If he goes and defeats Gaethje within 2 rounds, you automatically make him the title shot.
Yeah.
If this goes to 5, I can understand holding off.
Yeah, you can give him another one in the top 5.
Right. Oh, I think that would make a lot more sense. But it all depends on how he performs against Gaethje.
Yeah.
Gaethje would be a real litmus test for him. They can cut promos. That would be more box office, I think, than Oliveira.
Yeah.
But I'd be happy with Oliveira too.
I would be too. Next up is the main event of the evening, which was for the vacant featherweight championship. Alexander Volkanovski defeated Diego Lopez by unanimous decision. 2 judges scoring the contest 49-46. The third judge scoring the contest 48-47 to crown Alexander Volkanovski as your new UFC featherweight champion.
Volk looked good.
Oh, baby.
He looked good.
Woo-hoo.
And I think he understood what this meant for his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Had he lost this, I think it would have been game over.
Yeah.
I think it was done because he's a very small 155.
Mm-hmm.
He can handle himself very well at 145, and going up against Lopez, who had been on a hell of a roll, that is a great fight for to see where he ranked. And this is where I thought Volk looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he really implemented his will against a fighter that, I mean, listen, there's nothing against Diego Lopez. He fought a very solid fight.
Yeah.
And this is very close, but this is where the experience factor took over. And Volkanovski, obviously being a longtime champion, knew where he needed to go. So now is a very big question for him. Where do you go next?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a great win for Volkanovski because he handed Diego Lopez his first fight. Diego Lopez coming into this fight was on a 5-fight win streak. Last loss was to Movsar Evloev in May of 2023. So, hey, hell of a win for there. Also a good win for Volkanovski because he comes back, bounces back after 2. I don't want to say they're embarrassing losses, but they ain't good losses.
Right.
And the knockout loss to Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, 2023 and 2024 respectively. But he bounces back for that. But let's be honest, he was never going to lose. He had mommy in attendance.
Oh, exactly.
Rhea Ripley was in attendance rooting for the guy.
Yeah.
But for who he fights next, that could be very interesting. As we alluded to earlier with the featherweight division, he is now champion. Number 1 ranked is Max Holloway. Diego Lopez is number 2. Topuria is number 3. Yair Rodriguez is number 4, tied with Movsar Evloev. 6 is Arnold Allen. 7 is Brian Ortega. 8 is Leron Murphy. 9 is Aljamain Sterling. And 10 is Josh Emmett.
So going by that, who's tied at 4 again?
Yair Rodriguez and Movsar Evloev.
Evloev, I think, would get the fight.
Okay.
I know they're not going to do him and Max again right away.
God, please no.
No, forget about that.
Please no.
Then looking at the rest of the card, I mean, Olivev, I think, would be a better fight to kind of mess around with. I don't think Rodriguez would get that bump just yet.
So scrolling through Volkanovski's record, it does not appear that they've faced each other.
That's where I think you could have some really interesting dynamics for that fight.
He hasn't faced him in his entire UFC career.
Yeah.
He's faced Holloway. He's faced Chad Mendes, Aldo, Ortega, Korean Zombie, Makachev, Topura, but no Evelev.
And that's the thing, too, now with Topura going to 155, that you can take him out of the equation. He can't make the weight.
Yeah, let's be fair. Let's be honest. Topura's scared. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. That's funny. No, but in this situation, you take him out of the equation, and you have to start thinking about who's Volk's fought there. So, I mean, it is a fresh fight.
Yeah.
I know I was reading on ESPN.com that Aaron Pico signed with the UFC. I did not know about this.
Ooh.
So I don't think they would do that fight just yet.
No, they're not going to give him that big a shot.
But let's just say this. Pico is an exciting fighter. I don't doubt that he gets somebody in that top echelon.
Could be.
I could see if they don't do where I think they were going to go with Lopez, because I think Lopez would get Yair Rodriguez. I think that's a fight to make. But I'm going to say this, depending on what they want to do with Pico. If Pico is ready to go, I don't doubt them throwing him in the deep water.
Could be.
I really don't. And then if you throw him in deep water, that's an interesting place for him to land, because he's a hell of a fighter, tore it up in Bellator and PFL. And now, if he is signed, like I said, I'm reading the article on ESPN.com that said he did sign about a week ago. Yeah,
I'm looking on Google, and there is one from UFC. Is this legit? UFC.com. There's a video on there where the headline on the thing says Aaron Pico talks signing with UFC. Newly signed featherweight Aaron Pico speaks to UFC.com about joining the promotion and what he anticipates from stepping into the octagon for the first time.
Yeah.
So, he's signed with UFC. So, for those who don't know, his professional record, 17 professional matches, 13 wins, 4 losses. Coming into the UFC, he has a 3-fight winning streak. Of his 13 wins, 9 are by knockout, 2 are by submission, 2 are by decision. So, clearly the dude's got places to be and not a lot of time to get there. Out of his 4 losses, his last loss was to a gentleman by the name of Jeremy Kennedy. That was at Bellator 286. That was a shoulder injury, TKO, back in October of 2022. Of those 4 losses, 3 are by knockout, 1 are by submission, 0 are by decision. And he is, let me check out the age. He is
28.
Currently 28 years old. He will turn 29 in September.
Yeah, no, this is prime for the UFC.
Oh, yeah, I love this.
Yeah, no, he is going to make some waves. Like I say, I would not doubt the UFC throwing him either Lopez.
Oh, he's a Greg Jackson guy, too.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
He was
Freddie Roach was his boxing coach.
Yeah.
Blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's also a freestyle wrestling and a Greco-Roman wrestler.
Yeah, I don't want to make the comparison, but he reminded me a little bit of a young Robbie Lawler when he came in.
His freestyle wrestling record is 40-14. That ain't bad, folks.
No, so he's legit, and he's in a great camp that can make some noise.
Yeah, I'll say.
So that's an ultimate X factor that we don't know. And I would say this. With his hype behind him, you could throw him in there against a Yair. You could throw him in there against a Diego Lopez, and I don't think anybody would be too upset.
No.
I mean, I would not put him in a title shot. That's the only thing. I would have some reservations against that.
Yeah.
But we see, about who comes in against from the Bellator, foundation.
Yeah.
Listen, that's not a bad fight to put him against.
No.
So we will have to see what the powers that be do with the UFC. But I would say Lopez has to be in that mix.
Oh, absolutely.
And like I say, it just depends on what they want to do with that year, because that's another tricky one too. Or you almost do it like a tournament style, like 2 fight, the one goes on to face the other one. So
Dana ain't hurting for ideas.
No, but this is a big signing from them. So
this is the first signing I've heard in a while that I'm like, ooh, I actually like this.
Well, that's the thing, because I mean, we have not been following Bellator, and
Right.
I think they actually close up shop, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey.
So we'll have to dig into that. It's been a hot minute since we've actually talked Bellator here for reasons. Just because they've been disappearing on the radar.
They got acquired by PFL.
Okay, so that's
in late 2023.
okay. I knew something was going on there, but
They will be officially dissolved and will be known as the PFL Champions Series.
okay. Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say I knew they were doing like some joint work prior, but we just haven't really covered it.
Yeah, the article from Brett Okamoto, this is dated January 15th of 2025. It says PFL changes tournament format, eliminates Bellator promotion. The promotion announced Wednesday that this year's World Tournament will consist of the 3 single elimination matchups rather than the season and playoffs format the company has used since its debut in 2018. The tournament will feature 8 weight classes consisting of 8 fighters each and will run April through August. Quote, this is a continuance of the evolution of PFL CEO Peter Murray told ESPN. This innovation of our product makes it better and keeps it merit-based. It's all about one shot. It's a compressed window of competition time, which will lead to a broader audience and more fan engagement, close quote. Also this week, PFL co-founder Don Davis announced that the PFL would no longer promote events under the Bellator MMA banner as it did in 2024. The PFL acquired Bellator MMA in late 2023 and continued to operate as a separate entity.
Right.
That will change in 2025, effectively closing a promotion that opened in 2008. Close quote.
That's what I thought. I thought they were open under the same banner. I didn't hear about them merging though. That's interesting.
Yeah.
How did that slip past our radar?
I don't know. We got this article came out in January, mid-January, which was right around NFL playoff time.
That could be why.
NFL playoffs, hockey was going on. Basketball.
We have a lot. Well, we do talk a lot of parlay topics here,
This
so
is true.
so I could understand that some of them falls through the cracks like this. And Bellator, like I said, I haven't heard too much since they were doing the super fights. Months ago.
A while ago, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, with Pico now being on the roster, that opens up a lot of doors. So we'll have to wait to see where the chips fall for that.
Yeah.
But for Volkanovski, I think there's only a couple fights you can make right now, but you have to kind of see what the dust settles with Pico. That could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, so many storylines coming out of UFC 314. We had a lot to talk about with this one, but now we want to hear from you, ODPH Society. Hit us up on the hashtag. Let us know your thoughts of the fallout from UFC 314. But first, we're going to get a quick break. We'll be right back.
Do you like comic books?
What about movies and TV shows?
Well, we may be the show for you.
We're Hops Geek News, a weekly podcast that discusses comics, movies, and TV shows while featuring a beer of the week.
Every week we chat about what we messed up on the week before, and then we dive into what we're reading and watching, as well as some news.
We then wrap it up with a geek-themed topic of the week.
You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts by searching Hops Geek News.
Cheers.
The content you are listening to is part of the Nerd Initiative Podcast Network. For more info about the home of pop culture positivity, check out nerdinitiative.com.
Coming back for another segment on this edition of the ODPH podcast, and it is one of the best times in all of sports.
Da-na-da-na-da-da-da-da.
Sing it, Pat. Sing it.
Da-na-da-na-da-da-da. Shout out John Tesh.
Yes. Vastly underrated theme song. Gonna just put it out there.
Please make a comeback next year.
Oh, I hope so. We are going to be talking about the NBA playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The regular season is done, and now it is time for everybody to play defense and get on the court and show what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is where legends are formed. This is where, if you were in the Madison Square Garden area, it's going to get absolutely wild. So proceed with caution.
Yeah.
Because the fans are going to show up and show out. It is playoff time. So we are going to break down the brackets as we see them, give you our predictions about who's going where. So, Pad, tip us off.
All right, folks. This is the confusing bracket and the most confusing bracket in all of sports. Fight me on that one. So I'll try to make this as seamless as we can. Just for objectivity's sake, I will start in the Western Conference. So the number 9 seeded Sacramento Kings are taking on the number 10 seeded Dallas Mavericks. Should note the play-in tournament starts tonight as we record April 15th. It runs through the 18th. The regular playoffs begin on April 19th. So back to the point at hand. You've got the 9th seeded Kings taking on the 10th seeded Dallas Mavericks. Winner of that one moves on in the play-in tournament. Loser goes home. They will await the loser of the 7th-seeded Golden State Warriors taking on the 8th-seeded Memphis Grizzlies. I say loser because the winner of that matchup goes on to face the number 2-seeded Houston Rockets. So the winner of the whoever wins between the 9th or 10th seed against the loser of the 7th, 8th seed will go on to face the number 1-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder. They'll effectively become the 8th seed in the Western Conference. So right now as we record, the Thunder and Rockets are waiting on their opponents. Past that, you've got the number 3 seeded LA Lakers taking on the number 6 seeded Minnesota Timberwolves. And then you've got the number 4 seeded Denver Nuggets with a interim head coach at the least, taking on the 5th seeded LA Clippers.
Yeah.
Out in the East, you've got the number 9th seeded Chicago Bulls taking on the 10th seeded Miami Heat. Again, the winner of that one moves on to the next round of the play-in tournament. Loser goes home. Thanks for playing. Then you've got the number 7-seeded Orlando Magic taking on the 8th-seeded Atlanta Hawks. Loser of that one moves on in the play-in tournament. Winner goes on to face the number 2-seeded Boston Celtics. Good luck to whoever has that matchup. So with the second round of the play-in tournament, whoever wins that matchup, again, it's between the winner of the 9-10 seed and the loser of the 7-8 seed. You will go on to face the number 1-seeded, and this is still weird to say to me, Cleveland Cavaliers.
Let's go.
Finished the regular season with a record of 64-18. Holy hell. The rest of the play, so much like the West, the Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics are currently waiting for their opponents. The rest of the playoffs on the Eastern side play out as such. The number 3-seeded New York Knicks take on the 6-seeded Detroit Pistons, and the number 4-seeded Indiana Pacers take on the number 5-seeded Milwaukee Bucks.
Well, this is a lot to process.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Because, like I say, with the play-in games, it's a little tough to kind of figure out. However, we can emphasize about a few things.
Mercifully, they're one and dones.
Yeah, so that's the nice thing about it, even though it is more confusing than anything.
Uh-huh.
So we will have to put that into perspective. So that being said, we'll tip off in the West. So the 9 and 10 seed, Kings and Mavericks. Listen, this is going to be Sacramento. I don't think anybody's healthy on Dallas to really make a difference at this stage.
Yeah.
Dallas just needs to forget the season happened after trading Luka.
I mean, listen, Dallas front office needs to forget this season ever happened. The city ain't going to let them do it.
Right. There has to be something going on there that we just don't know about, because nothing that they've said about this is making any sense.
Uh-huh.
None at all.
No.
So that being said, I think it's going to be the easiest game to predict. I think the Kings move on. Dallas goes home.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Then you take a look at the 7-8 seed play-in.
Yep.
And that's the Warriors and the Grizzlies.
Yep.
Obviously, Draymond Green and company there have been really trying to make this the last hurrah, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Klay Thompson's no longer there, so it's just pretty much Steph Curry and him. But granted, this is the past twilight, Draymond Green and Steph Curry. Against a Memphis Grizzlies team that, let's face it, we don't know what we're going to get out of them any single night.
This is true.
They are a true X factor. So,
especially these days.
Yeah, so do I put any stock into them? Honestly, no.
I mean, any given night, you never know.
Any given night, anything could happen.
Yeah.
But I don't see them getting past Golden State. I do see, though, Memphis getting past Sacramento.
Okay.
So I think by the time the smoke clears, you're going to have Golden State and Houston in that 2-7 seed, the official 2-7. The 1-8 is going to be Oklahoma City and Memphis. And then this is where things get very tricky. You have to take into consideration where everybody is ranked.
Right.
Oklahoma City, with SGA and how young and exciting that team is.
68-14 record.
Yeah. Whew. I see them going absolutely crazy.
They're making a deep run.
And they're going to make a run.
Of course, I said that last year about other teams, and, well, that bit me in the butt.
Well, you have to think they've had a year to kind of process what's gone down. They have all the chances in the world to make the run. Honestly, I don't think anybody coming out of this playoff game can take them in 4 games.
No.
So it doesn't matter. Like, it's just,
sorry, Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, this is going to be the easiest lock of the brackets, I feel. So you can pencil them in moving forward. As for the Rockets against the Warriors, that one is going to test the Rockets. The Rockets have been overachieving, in my opinion, this entire season.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, give the Devils their due. 52-30 is nothing to sneeze about.
No, not at all.
So I could see them making it past a Golden State team here. But I could also see the youth versus experience factor playing in.
That is certainly going to play a factor.
And I could definitely see Golden State getting past them. And in fact, I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
I think Golden State is going to get past them for that next round.
Okay.
So then this is where you start diving into the 4 and 5 seeds, Denver and the Clippers. Denver is a hot mess express in that front office right now.
To say the least.
Firing the head coach, letting the GM go at the end of the season.
Yeah.
There is a big-time disconnect.
Uh-huh.
If any other team other than the Clippers were going in there, I would say Denver would be done, even with Jokic.
Right.
But I don't trust the Clippers as far as I can throw them in a playoff series.
No, I really don't either. I mean, the big factor, obviously, pun not intended, is going to be Jokic in this because the man finished the regular season averaging a triple-double. 29.6 points, 12.7 rebounds, and 10.2 assists. Oh, by the way, field goal percentage of 57.6. Mm-hmm. Yikes.
So that said, I don't trust them to go there. I could see the upset happening with the Clippers going there. I'm just going to say for conversation's sake that the Clippers, because every time we have predicted them to do well on this show, throughout the entire 8 years of this podcast,
Yeah.
they have found a way to screw us over.
It's like the Cleveland Browns the last couple of years.
Seriously. So I'm going to say Denver wins this.
Okay.
And they go on, but they will get beat by Oklahoma City. I don't think anybody beats Oklahoma City on this side.
Barring some sort of like bizarro injury where somebody's all of a sudden not available for like the entirety of that series. Yeah, it should be Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I think it's Oklahoma City's to lose. Albeit, though, I think it's going to be the big test for them is the one series that intrigues me more than any on this Western side.
Right.
And that is Minnesota and the Lakers. Because let's face it, you have arguably the MVP of MVPs in Anthony Edwards taking on the fountain of youth with LeBron James and Luka.
Yeah.
Now, this is not going to be an easy playoff series.
Oh, God, no.
But I will say this. I think Edwards is going to show up for this. I think he's going to give it his all. I just don't know necessarily if they have enough in the tank to beat Luka and LeBron, who have obviously overachieved when they were not supposed to work together. And I know we said that in the show. And listen, I'm not ducking that at all. But I think that this is where we're going to have to see what Anthony Edwards is doing. Like, I think this is the worst matchup they could have gotten that first round.
Probably.
And then you have to really see about what could happen, especially Luka being in L.A. That's a big, big storyline, too.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Richards, like I say, Edwards, has help.
Sure.
So it's not to say that he's on an island by himself. He can't keep up with this. Remember, he has some former Knicks there.
That's true.
And one Julius Randle who... Listen, I'm just going to say if Julius buys into whatever Anthony is running on the court, they should be fine. But Julius, I know, wants to really take over games. And listen, he's a star player. I get it.
Sure.
Now is not the time to do this. You got to really kind of fall into the battle plan that's given to you. And I think that's what held him back in New York because I think him and Brunson butted heads too much, in my opinion.
Probably.
So now they have to make this work. Can they make this work for the playoffs? I don't think so.
Probably.
I'm gonna take LA in this one, and I think you set up for the I want to say the throwback series of series.
Yeah.
The Lakers and Golden State, where I don't doubt the Lakers sneak this one out.
I can see it.
I think just Luka's playing. Like the thing is, the Luka trade ignited this franchise and got them over the hump where they needed to go.
It certainly lit a spark under them.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely did. And especially if LeBron is motivated for playoffs, depending on how his health is holding up.
Sure.
This is a huge move.
Sure.
But you have to think about it. Luka took a whole Dallas team to overachieved.
Luka did what that Dallas team, what LeBron did in 2007, whatever year it was.
Yeah. So to say that he's got some help with LeBron, even though LeBron is older, he's still LeBron. He can still show up in the playoffs, and he knows about managing his time and minutes and what's expected out of him. So I would say I like this matchup, and I think though if you have LA versus Golden State, I don't think Golden State has enough in the tank to beat it.
LeBron James at the ripe young age of 40 years old averaged 24.4 points a game, 7.8 rebounds a game, 8.2 assists per game, and then averaged a field goal percentage of 51.3. Not bad for a 40-year-old dude.
No, definitely not. So I'm going to say your Western Conference Final championship is Oklahoma City and the Lakers. And I'm sorry, Cinderella's shoe runs out. This is OKC. I don't see how they lose.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just don't. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I don't think you are wrong. I think this is definitely OKC's time to shine. You know, they've certainly, you know, lived up to the expectations and exceeded them in certain instances. I agree with you with the Lakers. I think the Lakers, between Luka's tenacity and just his fire, and they can certainly ride that for a while. And you got LeBron, and his basketball IQ is the highest I think anyone's seen in quite some time.
Oh, easily.
It's a combination that can get them far in the playoffs, but then you're going to run into, you know, the youthful tenacity of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I agree with you. I just don't think it's going to be enough to overcome, and I think it's going to be Oklahoma City's time to shine.
And that's the one thing. If they're going to make a run,
yeah,
this is the time to do it. Now, granted, they're a young team, sure, but contracts eventually start running out.
So this is true.
And when you start buying into your own hype, not saying Oklahoma City has done that,
right?
But with more success they're getting, SGA is a larger spotlight on him. They have to kind of make some choices down the road. Now, granted, their front office has done a fantastic job about stocking draft picks and such.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be fine long term. But with this core group that they have right now with him and Holmgren and the whole squad there,
yeah,
they have to make the run to at least the finals. They have to get to the finals. If they do not get to the finals, I'm not saying the season is a bust and blow up the team. I'm saying you're going to have a really tough off season to process this. That's the one situation you're going to have. And if you have that, you're going to really have to do some soul searching.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to say I'm penciling in Oklahoma City into the finals. Now, because we're trying to be fair and honest, we will not go full Knicks bias here, but we will break down the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
So, Pat, let's go.
Yeah, so like I alluded to, you've got the Bulls taking on the Heat. The winner of that will move on to the next round of the play-in tournament, and then you've got the Magic taking on the Hawks, which the loser of that will move on to the next round of the play-in tournament. The winner of that goes on to face the Celtics, and then the winner of the second round of the play-in will face the Cleveland Cavaliers. You've got the Pacers taking on the Bucks, the Knicks taking on the Pistons.
Well, all right, so we'll break down the play-in game. We got Chicago and Miami.
Probably going to be Chicago?
I mean, I have to think you got to go with Chicago. I feel
like Miami fell ass backwards into this.
Well, Miami has not been the Miami of old. Obviously, the Jimmy Butler debacle this season, that is looming very heavy overhead.
Yeah.
They're not the same team, so the fact they even got this far, listen, kudos to Spoelstra and Pat Riley and everybody down there.
Yeah.
But looking at this on paper, yeah, they're lucky they're here.
There's one team in the play-in tournament on the Eastern side that's at 500.
Yeah,
that'd be the Orlando Magic at 41-41. Hawks are 40-42. Bulls are 39-43. Heat are 37-45.
Yeah, so
you know,
it will be the big problem that they're going to have to try finding answers for, and I just don't think they're going to do this. I think Lonzo Ball is going to look good. You know, like I say, I don't think he's healthy to play, but if somehow he gets in the playoffs,
sure,
something could happen.
Sure.
Giddey, I believe, is healthy.
Okay.
So I know that was some question marks too. Like I say, Lonzo, I'm just not sure what the status is there. But either way,
game time decision probably.
Either way though, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah,
they can beat the Heat. The Heat is just.
They should.
Yeah, they're just not there. So I think that they should be fine.
Yeah.
Unless something crazy happens there.
Yeah.
But like I say, as I'm looking at now, because like we say, we do it live. I don't think Ball is out. I think Ball needs like another week of rest. So I don't think he's going to get it. But if we can get something out of the young Bulls, I think they'd be fine. I just think in comparison, I just don't think Tyler Hero and Adebayo can pull this off. I just can't.
No, there's just not enough there.
Yeah, so I just don't think they're going to have enough. I think this is going to be the Bulls in a very ugly game.
Yeah.
It's for the weak of heart. I just don't recommend watching it.
I mean, unless you're a fan of that team.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
I mean, your starting five for the Heat is Tyler Hero, Alec Burks, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, and Khalil Ware.
Yeah. Okay. That kind of says it all right there.
I mean, listen, let's be honest. Nobody in this play-in tournament is making a deep run in the Eastern for the Eastern side is making a deep run in the playoffs.
I mean, we could just kind of skim past it if we really want to. I'm going to say because I'm a Knicks fan, I cannot root for Trae Young under any circumstance, so Magic is taking this one. And then that will put the Magic against the Celtics. Yep. Then you have the Hawks because of default reasons against the Bulls, and the Bulls will win because, once again, I cannot root for Trae Young.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So your matchup for the opening round of the playoffs would be Chicago and Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have the Magic and Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the Knicks and Pistons, and then you got Milwaukee and the Pacers.
I'm going to say this. With all the question marks with Milwaukee, I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana beats them. Because, listen, I realize they say, Dame Lillard's going to miss at least the next game, because of his health concerns. The man's facing a blood clot. They're not going to start him until they're absolutely certain he's good to go. So effectively, his season's done. I don't think he plays a minute in this playoff.
Here's one thing we got to realize. I think in Milwaukee, I agree. Dame Lillard is not coming back for the series. He's done for the year.
Yeah, he's done.
Listen, I just hope he comes back healthy next season. That's all I'm concerned with. But at this situation, I don't think that it's going to matter because I think Milwaukee, unfortunately, is a hot mess express.
Mm-hmm.
There's all this talk about Giannis going to Miami next season or going somewhere he will not be there. I don't necessarily believe it. I think he's too loyal to Milwaukee. He stayed there through thick and thin when he could have left after he got a championship.
This is true.
So I think he's fine where he is. But I think as far as where they're going, they're going to be done. Halliburton and company are going to be taking that series regardless.
Absolutely.
I just don't think they have enough in the tank.
Absolutely.
Then that puts them against Cleveland. And listen, I'm excited for Cleveland because I don't think anybody predicted them to get this far.
I don't think anybody predicted them to be the 1 seed.
No. But you have to think about what Garland and Mitchell have done with this team throughout the year.
Yeah.
They came out hot. They have not let up the pressure. They have really done everything they need to do. So I am ecstatic to see that because nobody, you can't say that anybody took them early on, but in the early preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody had them going this far.
I don't think so.
But it all depends on what you're going to get out of your guard play. Evan Mobley has to really show up for Cleveland. I think that they have enough to get to that Eastern Conference final.
At least, yeah.
Out of that bracket. Then you get a little tricky because of what you have lined up in the lower half.
Yeah.
And listen, there's no way you're going to have me pick against Boston and Jason Tatum.
Oh, God, no.
No, it doesn't matter who they got to play in. They're going to win that. They might sweep.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good they are for
you
that.
You could have a lineup of the greatest Orlando Magic players in their franchise history.
Yeah.
They ain't beating Boston.
But the big X factor, which is going to have larger implications than we are even fathoming, is that 3-6 matchup with the Knicks and Detroit. Detroit has had one of the best bounce-back seasons in recent memory. That they actually look like a team. Cade Cunningham is playing at an extremely high level, which you have to be happy with if you're a Detroit fan. All the stuff they've done, you legitimately have to be excited about.
Sure.
For the Knicks, this has been a very intriguing season. Obviously, getting rid of DiVincenzo and getting rid of Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns has paid off, I believe.
It's worked out pretty well.
But they're a very high-scoring offense. Their defense is very suspect. And I think unless you get something out of Mitchell Robinson, which I don't, at this stage, I don't know, do they have enough to beat Detroit? I believe they do, but I think if Detroit somehow upsets them, they're going to implode this team. And that's weird to say because they've traded a lot away to get Bridges. They've done a lot to, relock Abogi. They've done a lot of moves that you had to go in all in for this team, and especially with Brunson leading this team.
Yeah,
you know what to expect. I think they have enough to beat Detroit, but the kryptonite to them this entire season, pun intended, I guess you could say, because of the jerseys, is Boston.
Right.
And unless they pull off something, I don't know how they beat Boston.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know how they're going to beat Detroit just because, listen, this Knicks team is good. They're good enough to win 51 games this year and earn the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. But to me, on the outside looking in, they don't appear to be as good as they were last year. They're close, but I don't think they're as good. And here's the other thing too. New York Knicks against the Detroit Pistons this year, 1-3. Their only win was on November 1st. That was a 128-98 win. They lost the remaining 3 games during the regular season. Well, let's just, for argument's sake, look at the rest of the Eastern Conference. The Knicks against the Cavs this year, 0-4. Knicks against the Boston Celtics this year,
0-4.
0-4.
Yeah.
Knicks against the Indiana Pacers, because let's just hypothetically they could play them. Well, hey, that's at least a winning record. They're 2-1 against the Pacers this year. And then just, again, argument's sake, let's say they get to the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, they're 3-0 against the Bucks this year, so hey, good for them. But even hell, God forbid they somehow magically make their run to the NBA Finals. If they get the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're 0-2 against the Thunder this year. Against the Lakers, they're 0-2. And then against the Rockets, they're 1-1. They're 1-1. So,
Well, this year, the biggest problem is they don't have that toughness.
true.
Like, Julius Randle, was a bully for him.
Sure.
Mitchell Robinson can be a bully when he needs to. DiVincenzo was a game changer when he needed to be one. But you had to remember, though, last year that team was beat up going into the finals. Had they stayed healthy, they would have beat Indiana.
Sure.
You can't tell me otherwise. So I think for this year, do they have enough to beat Detroit? I'm going to say yes, they do, because
It's going to be scrappy, though.
It's going to be scrappy, but I think here's what you have to realize. Detroit's still a young team.
True.
Them coming into the Garden,
True.
that's going to be the true telling point.
True.
Unless Cunningham comes in there going Trae Young, I don't see him beating him and stealing. Like, their best chance is to split.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see that. I'm not calling sweep, but I think that
Right.
New York will win this one.
I
decisively.
think the Knicks are going to win, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to go the full distance, and it's going to be knockdown, drag out right to the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of pressure points.
And unfortunately for the Knicks, I think past the first round is going to be a 1 round and done.
Well, that's the argument they have, is they need to go get somebody, or they need to find a way to beat Boston.
Right.
And they haven't done that. Boston. Granted, the nights that they've played Boston has set records for shooting percentage.
Yeah.
I think the one they shot 79% from the field.
That was something crazy.
It was
like
absurd. So, like, what are you going to do there?
That. Yeah.
So I think ultimately, though, am I going to say the Knicks are going to win? In my heart, yes. In my head, no. I think your finals are going to be Boston and Cleveland.
I'm thinking the same thing.
And then this is where, it's going to get dicey.
Mm-hmm.
Because Boston should not lose.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't. I mean, defending champs,
Yeah.
they have experience. They know what to do here. But I'm going to say this. Cleveland has proved everybody wrong thus far.
Mm-hmm.
Why not now? That's the way I look at it.
Could be.
I think Cleveland takes them in 7.
Okay.
They're going to push it to the limit. This is not going to be a one-and-done thing. Barring any injuries, this will not be a one-and-done. I think they wind up sneaking out against Boston.
Okay.
And then you have one of the more exciting finals in recent memory.
Yeah.
If it's OKC in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be ratings?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Because I think if that was going to be the case, it would be the absolute best case scenario, in my opinion, for the NBA ratings.
Lakers, Celtics.
Yep.
LeBron versus the Boston boys.
Yep. I think that would be their dream scenario.
Hasn't happened in a number of years now.
Nope. But if they could somehow pull it off, that I will say this, that would be amazing for the NBA.
I mean, in the words of Kevin Garnett, anything is possible.
This is true. But I think, though, if you get to that round, I don't see anybody. I think whoever is going to be the East champion is going to take the West.
Okay.
I really think if it's Boston, who I could see getting there, I think they wind up taking it.
Yeah.
If it's Cleveland, it'll be more scrappy. Like if it's Cleveland, Oklahoma City, I think Oklahoma City has a better chance.
Yeah.
If it's Oklahoma City and the Celtics, I don't think Oklahoma City is going to do that well.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it's ultimately going to be the East that wins, the NBA Finals. Just because, listen, there are good teams in the West, but there's not one team that's clearly more dominant than the rest of the NBA and is head and shoulders above everybody. They're good, but when you put up, once you get past Oklahoma City Thunder, the Houston Rockets, they're good, but I don't see them winning a 7-game series against either the Cavs or the Celtics in the East. Okay, the Lakers are good, but there's a lot of tread on some of those tires.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of wild to see. So we'll have to kind of see how everything plays out, obviously. But as it kicks off tonight, we just say New York forever. We're going to pull it off. I don't just forget what we said last segment. They're going to wind up winning. They're going to listen. I have to go to the fan mode. I have to go delusional fan mode that they're going to find some way to pull this off. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty, but that's why we call playoff basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be exciting to watch. So definitely go check out the games and hit us up on the hashtag ODPH Pod. You got Pat and Mike's predictions for the playoffs. Let's hear yours. So hit us up. Let us know. We're going to get one last breakout before we talk some WWE. We'll be right back.
You ever wondered what comics Mark from Vale is into? What Zach from Left Behind's favorite MCU movies are? Well, Metalcore Nerds is the show for you. My name is Sean Mott, and here at Metalcore Nerds, we cover the latest things in pop culture, whether it be Star Wars, Marvel, DC, AEW, and everything else in between. You can listen to the show every Monday on Adobe Howl at 7 p.m. Eastern, or find it anywhere you find podcasts after it debuts on the radio station.
Coming back for another segment on this edition of the ODPH podcast, and it is finally time.
Oh, baby.
The granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the immortals, Wrestlemania 41 is taking place this coming weekend from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, April 19th and 20th from Allegiant Stadium, and like I say, Las Vegas, the home of the Raiders.
The Las Vegas
Whoa,
Raiders.
yeah. I was gonna say it's not
Allegedly, Tom Brady's going to be there.
Allegedly. Listen, the one thing is for certain: you're going to see celebrities, you're going to see career-defining moments.
Brady's going to tag team with Gronk, win the championships.
I mean, anything is possible in WWE, especially in the days of Nick Khan and Triple H. The build has been questionable, I guess, in a lot of fans' minds. It has not been lights out.
It's not been as good as some years.
No, it definitely hasn't, but it is one that no matter what, everybody's going to watch. It's Mania. So if you're a pro wrestling fan, this is going to be on your calendar. It has been. Even the most devoted AEW fans will be tuning in to watch.
Yeah, this is true.
So that being said, we are going to break down both nights of WrestleMania, give you our predictions on the matches. So, Pad, ring the bell.
Yeah, so night one, April 19th. First match we're going to talk about is a tag team match for the World Tag Team Championships with the War Raiders. Eric and Ivar defending their belts against the New Day in Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods.
So ever since Kofi and Xavier turned on Big E, they have been the worst of the worst on both rosters.
Yeah.
So they are relishing the heel role. The War Raiders have been quiet champions for the most part. I mean, they've had some great matches.
Yeah.
Surprising this is not a four-way match or something like that, because in years past, we've had these great four-way tag team matches to really showcase all the teams.
Yeah.
I know they're not having the SmackDown championships defended.
That one is going to be on the SmackDown the night before.
Yeah, which I don't agree with.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But this one, I think there's no way they're not going to give it to the New Day. So, a heel has to win somewhere. I think this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, knowing their history.
Yeah.
I would not doubt if they have a Big E run in at the end.
Maybe.
In some points, I'll give it a 25% chance.
Maybe.
We'll have to see how it plays
I
out.
think that happens at SummerSlam. But no, I think it's ultimately going to be the New Day, and they're just going to run roughshod over the entire division.
I could definitely see that happening.
Just they're going to be the absolute worst, and they're going to be menaces. It's going to be an amazing watch. Next up is a match between two luchadors, allegedly, with Rey Mysterio taking on El Grande Americano in a singles match.
So, this one,
Lord have mercy.
what can we say? Chad Gable is.
Hey, that's not Chad Gable.
I would say he went to Mexico searching for the style of lucha libre to learn. And when he came back, so did El Grande Americano.
They're different people. They're not the same person.
That's the allegedly.
Ignore the fact they have the same cuts on their hands.
Or a tattoo on the back.
Yeah.
So this has been a great storyline that they've been building where Chad Gable's, El Grande's vengeance against...
Careful, you might get sued.
Yeah, Ray has been building up for a while. So this is going to be a fun match.
Oh, yeah.
And listen, I am going to say, anytime we can get Chad Gable on a big show like this, I'm happy. So,
absolutely.
Even if he's not El Grande, he will be involved.
Yep.
But I'm going to say Ray will probably win because I think they unmask.
I think so, yeah. I think there's only so far you can get with this gimmick and you can get with this whole shtick, and I think we're reaching the end.
Which I'm fine with as long as this leads to Gable becoming an Intercontinental Champion.
Sure. You can see it.
Nah, he's long overdue.
Next up is a singles match between Jade Cargill and Naomi.
So one of the more dramatic storylines they've been building on for a while, Jade was taken out by a mysterious assailant. We found out at Elimination Chamber when Jade came back that it was Naomi. She subsequently went to beat her down for 3 shows in a row, if I did my math right.
At least, yeah.
So now we're finally getting the legal match between the two.
Yep.
So I am going to go out on a limb with this one.
Okay.
I'm going to say Naomi wins because Bianca Belair helps her.
Okay. I think it's ultimately going to be, and this is a match that, like, I'm excited to see it. I don't care who wins in either way, just because I don't know where you go from here. You know, if this were a case of Naomi wasn't in, you know, the match, Bianca wasn't in the situation she's in with her title picture and whatever else, I could see some possibilities of where this would go, but flip of the coin, Jade Cargill.
Okay. I mean,
either way, I'm okay with either outcome. This whole feud, like, started off red hot for me, especially with the who attacked Jade Cargill. What happened to her? The whole mystery, the intrigue, and then you had the moment at Elimination Chamber. It was cinema. You know, it was, oh my God, she's beating the holy you know what out of Naomi. And then find out Naomi did do it. Oh my God. And then it was like pouring water on the whole thing, and then it just cooled off instantly, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I think that they have to do something to shake it up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's why I say Bianca getting injected into it, that's probably where I think they go with this.
Maybe. Next up is a singles match for the United States Championship with L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Defending his belt against Jacob Fatu.
The easiest match to predict during the entire weekend.
Lord have mercy.
And new.
Yeah.
Give all the belts to Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's nothing against LA Knight, but this is going to be Jacob Fatu because shenanigans.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like he's walking out of there with the belt, and it's going to get absolutely insane after that.
Next up is possibly the most talked about match of the entire weekend, although for not necessarily the best reason. This is a singles match for the WWE Women's Championship with Tiffany Stratton defending her belt against Charlotte Flair.
Arguably the most polarizing match.
Yeah, that too.
I think that's probably the easiest way you can describe it. Charlotte Flair, Hall of Famer in waiting, decorated world champion.
Yep.
A cornerstone of the women's division, coming back from a very nasty ACL injury.
Yeah.
And came back, won the Royal Rumble. The crowd was excited that night. The next night, though, she appeared on TV, not so much. Tiffany Stratton, the young upstart from WWE NXT, who has really won over the fans very organically, is now in the position where she has the world title after cashing in Money in the Bank. So they have been doing some promo work together.
Sure.
And it is very evident that they do not like each other.
Yeah.
For reasons.
Yeah.
Listen, we don't know anything behind the stage.
There's reports.
Yeah,
there's rumors.
There's rumors galore. So we'll just say the allegedly, but you can definitely tell on screen that they do not.
Yeah.
There's a certain thing when you can act it. There's another one when you can tell it's real. A couple Friday nights ago, there was a very uncomfortable promo that was done after a video vignette was aired the week prior.
Yep.
And somebody took liberties, and it spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
You could take your pick about who's responsible, but your pick is probably going to be right. And when the young upstart decided to say something that crossed the line, the wheels came off the tracks completely.
Oh, yeah.
So this one, it has all the buzz for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So that being said, I think, unfortunately, Tiffy time is up.
Okay.
This is going to be Charlotte Flair.
Oh, this is another one that, like, I don't care. I'm not real interested in this just because, listen, I got nothing against Charlotte, but I've seen her win before, is what it is. Like, when she wins and then nothing exciting happens. You know, it's just she has a title reign and then she loses only to get it back in the next couple of months. I mean, listen, if Cena doesn't break her father's world title record, she will by the end of the year. I'm just gonna say, just for the sake of difference and, you know, something new, I'm gonna say Tiffany.
I hope you're right. I really do. I don't know necessarily, like I say, if they're going to do it, because I think that with Tiffany's run, though, I don't want to say it's been stale, but it really has not been memorable. And I think, unfortunately, to get away from the bad publicity that's coming from this, I could see them doing the switch and having her chase. I think that's a better role for her. I would say maybe some shenanigans that are involved too, but
probably.
I think this this is going to set up for something else down the road for both. So I'm going to say Charlotte takes this for you. But I hope you're right, though.
Next up is a singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship with Gunther defending his belt against main event Jey Uso.
Well, this one is probably the most unlikely match of all.
Yeah, I would say so.
The card has been very stacked thus far, but this one is Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble, which was a shock to many, many people. Albeit, though, there's the Yeet movement, and that has taken WWE fans by storm at live events. Has it translated, though, over to the main event status for Jey Uso? That was a question. Gunther has been absolutely on point with everything he's done, and it only seems as of recently that there is that storyline build going on between them. Not saying that there is a problem like there is with Stratton and Flair,
right?
But it just seems like, I don't know, and I don't want to say this because I know this might be too strong, but it's like, is Jey Uso having those jitters that we talked about with UFC fighters coming in?
Sure.
This is the biggest award you can get, and I know his singles run, he has been there, but let's face it, he was only Intercontinental Champion for a cup of coffee.
Right.
It's not like he's had a belt of this stature for a long time. What I think they should do is have Gunther win.
Okay.
And have Jey build up the chase.
Okay.
Where I think, as we'll go into night 2, I'll explain the method a little more, but I think you have to keep the belt on Gunther for this time around.
See, I think you could have, that's true. And I think there's certainly some credibility to that, but I think they don't put Jey in this position if he's not over, as you know what. So if you don't think he's over, have you been to a live show recently?
Oh yeah,
and I'm not even talking televised house shows. He is over as you know what. It's insane. Well, we saw him here in locally when they came through back in June, and it was the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. I think it's going to be Jey, though, just because if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? And yeah, you could do the whole Cody Rhodes aspect of things like they did last year for Cody. Cody lost to Roman, and then he had to build his way up, and he had to go through absolute you-know-what to earn his shot again the following year WrestleMania. But, I don't know if they can necessarily do that again, but with Jey, I think you give Jey the run, and you can do a run with Gunther, because it's almost like he's been overlooking him a little bit. He hasn't been taking him seriously that he thinks he's that good, because I tried looking it up, but lost amidst, the databases is all of the house shows. But I think televised matches, you can count on maybe 2 hands, maybe 1. How many times on the main roster Gunther's lost, a singles match? It's not many times. So I think there's something to be said where you can give Jey the belt and you can give the run just because, okay, if let's just say, argument's sake, Gunther wins, he beats Jey. What then? What do you do now? Because that side of the roster on the Monday Night Raw side specifically is lacking in main eventers that are ready to go. Yeah, you've got some waiting in the wings. Penta eventually I think could get there. Braun Breaker is another one, on the men's side. But I'd love to see Finn Balor get a world title opportunity, but again, not exactly ready now and then. Everybody else though is, it's kind of lacking. So I think you could have a run where Jey gets it and Gunther just absolutely loses his mind. He just goes nuts and he just starts running absolute roughshod over the entire locker room. I'm talking, he's attacking people backstage that had absolutely nothing to do with the match. That he's just going nuts trying to it gets announced, let's just say it's the Raw after Mania that Jey Uso's going up against one of the Creed brothers, just picking names out of my butt. All of a sudden, whoops, the Creed brothers been found suplexed into some scaffolding in the back room, and all of a sudden he can't compete. Who the heck did it? Well, I wonder who it could be. Something like that.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that I just don't think that this is a lock for him being world champion.
Right.
That I think this could honestly go either way.
Yeah.
I just think that if they did this, it would be a larger storyline because I just don't know if they really feel that Jay's ready in this moment. You can't deny the fans, and the fans are behind him. It's going to be a spectacle with the whole Yeats. But I also sense after this, where are we going from here? Unless this is to transition to somebody at SummerSlam,
right? That's
my only fear with this. But we'll have to wait and see because I think if Gunther retains, he would have a new challenger on the night after Mania. Mm-hmm. Depending on who it is, that could be something as well too. Because I mean, they could also do have somebody come over from SmackDown to
Yeah.
show up like this. They have ways around this. I think it just depends on how much faith they have in Jay about
Sure.
this. But I know how like the online reaction has been. Granted,
Sure.
being at the live show is different than being online.
Yeah, this is
so
true.
it depends on what they want. They want
true.
way more.
And then main eventing night 1 is the triple threat match with Roman Reigns going up against Seth Rollins and CM Punk, who will have Paul Heyman in his corner.
So this one has been a great storyline to watch.
Yeah.
build.
Yeah.
Very back and forth. Seth Rollins is poking everybody.
Yeah.
Causing a very big wedge between Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
The favor, disappointing in my call, if that is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I understand the sentimental value of it,
Sure.
but I would have done something different. I had a different storyline I mentioned before on Wrestling Night Live about.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish they would have gone there, but I understand why, and this is ultimately going to come down to this is going to be your main event of night 1.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you taking in this one?
I'm going to take Punk. And,
Okay.
I think because triple threat shenanigans can ensue, I think Punk wins it, but he doesn't win it cleanly.
Okay.
And I think that's because, and I'm not because Seth Rollins gets involved, but because Heyman gets involved. Excuse me, because the entire time of the last calendar year, Paul Heyman has been run through the absolute ringer with, his trajectory and his storyline. Let's not forget Madison Square Garden. He got put through the table by, the new Bloodline, Bloodline 2.0, whatever you want to call him. Out missing for a while and then made his comeback and everything else. Now he's getting a wedge put between him and Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns is starting to get pissed off at him. And you look back to what happened on Monday night where he tried making good on it and Roman pushed him away. Roman shoved him to the ground. So I think Heyman's going to have had enough of this, and he's ultimately going to turn on Roman, and it's going to lead to CM Punk winning.
See, I think what's going to happen is Heyman does turn, but he joins with Rollins.
Okay.
And just wait for the outfits to come with Paul Heyman with that.
Oh, Lord.
That's going to be epic. No, but I think giving CM Punk the big win at Mania, I could see happening.
Sure.
I could. Roman's won at Mania numerous times.
Roman's about to be, according to WWE, whether you believe this or not, the most main events in company history at WrestleMania.
It's up there. It's legit
They're
up there.
they're technically counting Mania last year as 2, so it's putting him past Hogan's record. But if you only count last year's as 1, then he's technically 1 away.
Yeah, so
And that's count both of those instances. I'm counting this year.
yeah, so I think in that situation, yeah, he's been Mr. WrestleMania to a degree. Here's a good fact.
Okay.
When was the last time Seth Rollins won at Mania?
Oh, I'd have to look that up.
All right. If you look,
It might be 31.
I was gonna say it's been a while.
No. Sorry, 35. He beat Brock.
Okay. So that said, he has put everybody over that he has been involved with to this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think they owe him one, and I think this is where it comes back into play. Because if you see where Cody he went over on him, he put Cody over. Then last year in the tag match, they were on the losing side.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's due. I just think it's due for that moment. I think it would be a nice dynamic switch. Punk winning does help, but then it also comes back to what's he going to go for the world title. If Rollins wins, it just infuriates Punk more, especially if Paul Heyman leaves him does that.
Right.
Then you continue that storyline on. Roman can do Roman things. He's Roman, so
This is true.
enough said.
This is true.
So I think Rollins makes a lot more business sense to do.
I'm looking it up. So yeah, 35. He did beat Brock for the Universal title. That was the one that it opened the show and shocked the hell out of everybody. 36. He lost to Kevin Owens. 37. It does not appear that he was on that card for reasons I can't say. I honestly remember what they were. 38. If I'm not mistaken, that was the one where he was the mystery opponent. Cody defeated Seth because that was the mystery opponent. Like Seth wasn't on. He wanted an opponent. Blah blah blah. 39. He went up against. Okay, so he did win at 39. He beat Logan Paul via pinfall. So 39 was his last win because last year he was in the tag match.
Okay.
And they lost that.
Wow, I can't believe I forgot about that match with him and Logan.
I mean, listen, it's honestly forgettable. It was very early in the card. It was, where the heck was it?
I think it opened the show. Or it's up around there.
No, because night one, Austin Theory opened against John
That's
Cena.
right.
It was so night one was Austin Theory versus Cena first. Then you had the Fatal 4-Way for the tag belts. After that, then it was Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul.
That's why I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Because, the tag match
And it was,
stole the show.
Yeah, it stole a show in 8.5 minutes, and Seth and Logan went 16-15.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, that makes sense. But still, I still think
that whole night was stacked though, because after that you had the 6-woman tag match with Trish, Lita, and Becky going up against Damage Control.
Yeah.
Then you had Rey and Dominic, Rhea and Charlotte, Pat and The Miz, and then you had Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn against the Usos. That whole night was
night was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But much like this night too, because like I say, it's a very solid night of matches.
Yeah.
I think other than the main events, I mean, I think it's gonna be a very solid show.
Oh yeah, it'll be good.
But the main event is gonna be something to watch.
Yeah.
Then you flip to night 2.
Oh boy. So night 2, first match we're going to talk about is a tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending their belt against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria.
Interesting setup here.
Yeah.
With a gauntlet match for the number 1 contendership, where Lyra and Bayley won. I'm honestly thinking that this is going to be and still.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
And I would not doubt maybe Lyra turns on Bayley.
Oh, okay.
I think that Lyra is very solid in the ring as far as the moves.
Just needs something to spark it a little bit.
But charisma-wise, there's something with the characters not going there. I know they want to get the woo.
Yeah, when her entrance.
Yeah, going.
It's just not connecting.
It's just not there yet. I mean, Bayley, you could turn heel, sure, but
yeah.
I don't know necessarily they want to go that route. But I'm going to say it's going to be end still.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Except I am holding out hope. I know the Inspiration is doing some indie dates.
Ooh.
So why not? During WrestleMania week, the Billy Kay and Cassie Lee
Oh, yeah.
are doing shows. So why not just make it a triple threat match for reasons? I'm okay with this.
Next up is a singles match between AJ Styles and Logan Paul.
Well, we talked about Mr. Logan Paul. This has been an interesting build. Logan, love him or hate him, shows up for these big matches.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for a better dance partner than AJ Styles. Karrion Kross has been in the mix. Cut an amazing promo.
Yeah.
After the match, which I'm really hoping the rumors of his contract being up this summer are not true, unless WWE re-signs him, because Karrion's done a lot. I just wish he was in the ring more.
Yeah, I agree.
That said, Pat, who you taking here?
I'm going to take AJ Styles. Why? I don't know. We'll see. Reasons.
I'm going to take Logan Paul.
Okay.
I just think that Logan winning would be enough to drive AJ crazy.
Yeah.
And send him on kind of that heel turn that Kross has been pushing him on. So I'm not saying you pair them together, but I could see them doing some business.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Logan wins because of reasons.
Next up could be match of the weekend. Certainly could be match of the night. This is the Fatal 4-Way match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship with Braun Breaker defending his belt against Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio.
Well, this just goes to show about how deep the division is.
Yeah.
So 4-way for the IC title, no ladder involved, just a 4-way straight up. And especially interesting is Dominic versus Finn is in this mix. So Judgment Day, I think, is imploding at the end of this. We will have a new.
Okay.
And give the belt to Dirty Dom already.
Oh, man. The heat that man will receive. I don't think it's necessarily going to be that, though. I want to see it. I want to hear the reaction. I want to hear the people go nuts. I live for that. I think it could be Penta, though. I think they're real high on Penta. He's been getting featured heavily each week. I think, why not give him a run?
Well, I mean, Penta I could definitely see happening, too.
Yeah.
But I think if you give it to Dom, because, I mean, the heel's got to win sometime.
Yeah.
And I think no better way to do this than have Dom do this with help from that mystery member of the Judgment Day he wants to bring in.
True.
So whether that's Aleister Black, whether that's
El Generico.
I mean, it could be anybody, literally.
Sammy's not on the card.
This is
just
true.
saying.
This is true. Technically, he's home resting his injuries.
This is true. He's home resting his injuries. Doesn't mean El Generico's not.
Yes.
This is true. Next up is a match where, oh boy, for those of you with weak constitutions might want to leave the room. So this has been dubbed a Sin City Street Fight. Normally, originally, it was just going to be a singles match. Nope, it's a street fight. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre Oh, boy.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
I-
Banger.
Yep, this is going to be absolutely out of control. I'm here for it. Nothing but carnage, nothing but just stuff getting broken everywhere.
Yep.
These two are going to try stealing the show, and they have every intention about pulling it off.
They're gonna swing for the fences, and they're going to clear it.
Yeah, I like Drew McIntyre in this, though.
Okay.
I think Drew needs this more than Damian.
Drew's due, to say the least.
Yeah, it builds off their storyline from last year at Mania where Damian cashed in on him.
Yep.
So,
Yep. I think it's going to be Drew.
yeah, I think Drew needs it more.
Yeah. Next up is a triple threat for the Women's World Championship with Io Sky defending her belt against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley.
Well, this one they've been building up for a while. Great back and forth. I want to do this locks and leap style.
Okay.
My leap is Io retains.
Okay.
Because I think Io has been getting the shaft in this one.
Yeah.
I mean, every time it seems like it's centered around Bianca and Rhea that I think that Io winning would really elevate her status with this. But I feel the lock is Bianca Belair wins because she gets help from Naomi.
Okay.
So what do you think?
I think it's going to be Io Sky. I think she's going to pin Rhea Ripley clean in the ring 1, 2, 3. Because if I'm not mistaken, Io's record against Rhea Ripley is undefeated. And I agree with you. I think Io's been, getting overlooked this entire feud. It's all Bianca's been so focused on Rhea. Rhea is the same, vice versa. And it's almost like Io's the forgotten, friend that nobody wants to really acknowledge in the room. It's one of those things that Io's do. Bianca's had her moment. Rhea's had hers. Give Io hers.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah. Then the main event for night 2, the main event overall, Cody Rhodes going up against John Cena for his final WrestleMania match ever and a singles match for the undisputed WWE Championship.
Well, this one's had the most dramatic storyline build to it. Obviously, Cena going heel has shocked the internet, shocked the pop culture, shocked everybody. Cody Rhodes is sitting there on his back foot right now, and they've been giving some amazing promos back and forth. So who's going to wind up winning is anybody's guess. But if I have to make the prediction, and I am going to do that, this is all John Cena's moment. His final year, he's going to have a reign of terror like we haven't seen, and this is where it starts. Cody Rhodes, he winds up doing something that will make him question him being a face. Unless they would do something where it's a double turn and he winds up helping with The Rock's help. I don't know. But I think this is all Cena's to win.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing just because it's his last one. The moment's there. He'll break Ric Flair's record, in the WWE and all that, and plus, let's face it, there's going to be shenanigans out the what with this match.
Oh, completely.
I don't think it'll be necessarily as egregious and as complicated and convoluted as it was last year, with Jimmy and Jay and then Solo and then John and then The Rock and then Undertaker. Like, I don't think it's going to be necessarily that convoluted, but there's going to be a rough bump. There's going to be shenanigans. It's going to be insane. But I think ultimately it's going to be John at the end of the day.
Yeah, as rightfully so. Plus, Randy Orton's still open in the air, so who
That's
knows?
true. He may come out at some point both of these nights with an open challenge, although he does want to face Nick Aldis.
He might be the guy that comes in and costs Cody.
Oh, all right.
And becomes the third man that they've alluded to working with John Cena.
By God, who's the third man?
Either way, it's time to celebrate the end of the calendar year for WWE. It's going to be a show like nothing else you're going to see this year.
It's going to be nuts.
This year's WrestleMania takes place Saturday, April 19th, and Sunday, Easter Sunday,
Yeah.
April 20th. Yep. So
Rob Van Dam's going to be happy.
No, there's going to be
If you know, you know.
There'll be a lot of people happy at that stadium. Let's just put it that way. But if you're going to be watching, it'll be on the Peacock streaming network, and definitely we will have a lot to talk about it on next week's show. So in the meantime, hit us up on the hashtag ODPHpod. WrestleMania season is officially wrapping up this week. What is your predictions for the big show? And for even more coverage, make sure you're following Nerd Initiative on YouTube. There's exclusive stuff coming on for WrestleMania week, along with Wrestling Night Live and I was going to say an official live post show night 1.
Hey.
Because for the first time ever, Rich, Slam and Sammy, and yours truly are going to be in the same place at the same time. Rich wants to get it on tape, so we're going to be doing the live show.
Nice.
So definitely make sure you're subscribed to Nerd Initiative. You're going to see that. The show is going to be absolutely wild and out of control, so definitely make sure you tune in for that and celebrate the wrestling. That said, last break coming right up. We'll be right back.
This is Tom from Tom Joe Lou,
This is Matt from Sideroom Sounds.
and you're listening to ODPH Podcast.
Wanna go where no one
Coming back for the final segment on this edition of the ODPH podcast. Pad, what you got?
Got a couple things to talk about. First of which is obviously the local minute. We got to talk some Binghamton Black Bears hockey because they did finish the regular season and the playoffs are upon us. So to finish the regular season, don't need to read the standings. They finished in first place. Franchise record like 49 wins or something crazy like that. Congratulations to the team. They did finish the regular season though, two home games to close out the year. They had the game on Friday, April 11th, where they won against Danbury by the final score of 6-2. Then they came back on Saturday, final game of the regular season, Saturday, April 12th, against the Venom, won by the final score of 10-1.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, tell me about it. So now the playoffs are here. Although Binghamton is currently waiting for their playoff opponent, they are the number one overall seed on their side of the bracket. They are waiting on the results of the game or games against the Watertown Wolves and the Motor City Rockers. They will go on to play the Binghamton Black Bears in the playoffs. So schedule's not yet announced, to be determined and all that good stuff, but pay attention to BinghamtonBlackBears.com and their social media for all that good information because they will certainly post that when it is available. But hey, good luck, Black Bears. You got to defend the cup, and you are certainly on the path to doing so.
Yeah, bring home the cup, otherwise it's a failure.
This is true. Then we got to talk some Binghamton Rumble Ponies because looking at the standings for the Rumble Ponies, it's not that good a start, but it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. So for the Eastern League Division, that is the division they play in AA. First place is the Portland Sea Dogs, who are the Boston Red Sox affiliate. They're sitting in first place, 5-2. Right behind them is the Hartford Yard Goats. They are the affiliate of the Colorado Rockies, 5-3. New Hampshire Fisher Cats, who are the Toronto Blue Jays affiliate. They are in third place with a record of 3-3. Somerset Patriots, the New York Yankees affiliate, are next with a record of 4-5. Then you've got the Binghamton Rumble Ponies in second to last with a record of 3-4. Then you've got the Reading Fightin' Phils, of course, the Phillies AA affiliate, in last place with a record of 3-6. Looking at the schedule from this past week, boy, this is a mess because weather in the Northeast the last week has been, well, a mess. They were supposed to have a game on Tuesday, April the 8th. That was postponed due to inclement weather and made up as part of a doubleheader on Wednesday. They lost the first game by the final score of 4-0, and they lost the second game by the final score of 5-3. Supposed to have a doubleheader on Wednesday. That was postponed due to inclement weather and made up as part of a doubleheader on Friday. So they won the first game by the final score of 10-1. Good Lord. Maybe that was on reality show. That was a reality show game. So maybe they ought to do that more often. I don't know. Because they lost the next game, which was part of the makeup from the day prior. They lost that one by a final score of 8-4. Saturday, they were supposed to play the game. That was postponed due to rain. That will be made up on May 14th. The other thing with the Saturday, the April 12th game was that was supposed to be the day the Rumble Ponies Jackie Robinson jerseys were handed out. The Rumble Ponies announced on their website and social media that the giveaway for the Rumble Ponies 42 jerseys has been rescheduled for August 28th. So mark your calendars. You'll have another opportunity to get those jerseys. They did have a final game of the series against the Hartford Yard Goats on Sunday where they won by the final score of 2-1. They're on the road this week playing the Reading Fightin' Phils all this week. They get a game on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Saturday is at 5:15 p.m. Eastern, and then Sunday is at 1:15 p.m. Eastern. They do return home next week, though, starting Tuesday the 22nd for a home series against the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. So for more tickets, information, all that good stuff, bingrp.com. Then we're going to keep it in the baseball because there was a little bit of news announced yesterday. The World Baseball Classic is coming back next year. For those who don't know, baseball got kicked out of the Olympics a number of years ago, so the Major League Baseball decided to say, F it, we're going to do our own tournament. And then thus the World Baseball Classic was born. I want to say it was almost 20 years ago now, something crazy like that. But yeah, it's a number of teams from around the world. The Dominican, Puerto Rico, Japan, Mexico, Great Britain, the U.S. obviously have been in there. But it was announced yesterday as we record that the first team member named to the World Baseball Classic team for Team USA and is also going to be the captain, one Aaron Judge.
Let's go.
Making his World Baseball Classic debut. Did not play in 2023. Was also announced that Mark DeRosa is going to be back as the coach for the team this year. They lost to Japan in the title game. Mike Trout was team captain for that team. Judge did tell MLB Network, quote, "Just getting a chance to represent this country, what this country means to me. Honestly, every game during the national anthem and God Bless America, getting a chance to sit out there. For me, it's a time to reflect about all the brave men and women that have fought for this country and given me the opportunity to step on the baseball field and play the game that I love. Now, getting a chance to have USA across my chest and represent all the great people in our country and represent what this country means, it's a great opportunity. I never had this opportunity before, even growing up as a kid, so I'm definitely looking forward to it," close quote. I'm just excited this gives me the opportunity to buy one of those awesome USA baseball jerseys that has his name and number on the back.
Indeed.
It's going to be amazing. Speaking of amazing on this team, I got to pull this up because they announced, like I said, the baseball classic teams, coaches for Team USA. Team is fucking low-key stacked. Okay, so the manager, as I mentioned, is Mark DeRosa. Bench coach, some dude named Skip Schumacher.
Okay.
You might have heard of him. Pitching coach, I don't know. You might have heard of him. Andy Pettit.
The legend.
Hitting coach, some dude. If you all wonder why the hitters on Team USA biceps are huge, it's because Matt Holliday's the hitting coach.
Torpedo bats.
Yeah, First base coach, George Lombard. Third base coach, Dino Ebel. Bullpen coach, some dude named David Ross, two-time World Series champion, is going to be the bullpen coach. And then your assistant manager, some dude named Freddie Gonzalez. I don't know if you're a Braves fan. Braves fan, you might have heard of him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Assistant manager, some dude, I don't know, you might have heard of him, Brian McCann.
Another Brave.
Yep. And then the other assistant manager, some dude played a number of years at shortstop and in the infield, Michael Young. So I got to say, hell of a coaching staff.
Very solid lineup.
They got going.
Very, very solid.
Then we also have to mention that today, as we record, Tuesday, April 15th, is Jackie Robinson Day. It is the day commemorating and honoring the day Jackie Robinson made his major league debut with the Brooklyn Dodgers way back in the day, back during the 1940s. Broke the baseball's color barrier, went on to a stellar career, Hall of Fame career, won the MVP, won Rookie of the Year, won the World Series in 1955, batting title, 7-time All-Star, one of the greats to ever do it. And thank you for Jackie Robinson for being such an integral part of baseball and for everything you did. And also for one of the most memorable plays in baseball, even if it was against the Yankees, stealing home plate on Yogi Berra.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
It's a wild play.
Yes, it's always grateful for his contributions to the game, and I love that we still honor him to this day.
And so if you don't know Jackie Robinson Day, it is Jackie Robinson's number is 42, is the only number in Major League Baseball universally retired among every team.
Yep.
But for one day out of the year, every player and manager goes and wears that number on their jersey for that day. I loved the one account on Blue Sky that like posts jersey number updates because they were updating every player in baseball has switched to number 42. That was great to see. If you're not familiar with the story or anything, highly recommend you check out the movie 42.
Yes,
starring the late Chadwick Boseman. Fantastic movie if you haven't seen it.
Absolutely. The only thing I have to close out the show with, unfortunately, the New York Rangers have been eliminated for the Stanley Cup playoffs, so hockey is officially over. The
original, what is it, 6, 8?
Yeah, the original 6 are gone.
There's no original 6 in the NHL in the playoffs.
What a world we live in.
I know.
This is happening in hockey. So playoffs are going to be starting next week as we record. The Rangers have their last home game taking place on the 17th against Tampa Bay. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The season has been marred with a lot of drama.
Then that ain't going to stop with this offseason.
Well, I think this season we're going to have some changes. I think Laviolette's gone as head coach, which I'm fine with.
If he's not, he's got dirt on somebody.
Yeah, it would be messy. Drury, I don't know his status because, I mean, the allegedly there's a problem with him in the locker room. And they turned it on too late, and this team has underperformed. So obviously you got to do some switching.
Yeah.
I think the coach is definitely where it was. I mean, we've talked about when Laviolette came to this team 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That he only had a window of time everywhere he's gone. It just hasn't worked out for that long term. I don't have a replacement in mind. I'm not even going to try attempting to until I hear he's gone.
Yeah.
This is the one time I think James Dolan is actually paying attention to it. So
Lord, I hope so.
We'll see. I mean, If that's the case, we might have to open next week's show if that's the with his music, if we can get licensing rights to it.
If anybody knows any connections, hit us up.
Yeah, if he does the firing, we will do that if we have clearance to do it. Because I'm not getting sued by Dolan.
Please, no, God.
No, no, we don't.
Gonna
need
get us banned from the garden.
Yeah, and I want to try getting there at some point this year. So
please.
So that said, yeah, unfortunately, hockey's done for it, so we will not be talking about it here on the show.
I'm going to run through the brackets anyway, just to give the fans of those teams their due. Out in the West, you've got the Winnipeg Jets taking on the St. Louis Blues. The Dallas Stars are taking on the Colorado Avalanche. The Las Vegas Golden Knights are taking on taking on Minnesota. LA Kings are taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Out in the East, boy, this first matchup is going to be toxic as you know what. Toronto Maple Leafs are taking on the Ottawa Senators.
Oh, jeez.
So that's going to be ugly. This one, Battle of Florida. You got Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Florida Panthers. And you've got the Washington Capitals taking on the Montreal Canadiens. And then you've got the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the New Jersey Devils.
I'm not rooting for anybody. I mean...
I'm rooting for chaos.
Wait, Toronto's in there, right?
Toronto's taking on Ottawa.
Wait, they're one of the original 6.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go.
How they get in? See, this is how distraught I've been about the Rangers. I have not paid attention, but I saw the same news article you talked about. They said this is the first time the original 6 were not going to be in. So somehow they snuck in.
Yeah, somehow they snuck in.
Yeah, even more.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be toxic. You got the Battle of Florida. Listen, I'm not pulling for anybody in this race. I just want ultimate chaos. However long these series can go, make them go the maximum distance. Get the most out of your bang for your buck.
All right, so if I got to choose somebody, listen, I'll take Tampa Bay because it's Rangers South.
Okay.
Most Rangers usually wind up there before the
this is true.
The end of their career.
New Yorkers do love to move to Florida.
Yeah.
It's a statistic.
So, but yeah, hockey's done as far as I'm concerned.
I'm going to go dark horse. I'm going to go Edmonton.
Edmonton should. Edmonton is always...
Paul, I know absolutely nothing. I have been tipped off about nothing. I'm just guessing.
Edmonton has all the talent in the world to get there, but they're not going to find a way to. It's the rule of gravity. So I don't write it. It's just what happens. But hockey is wrapping up. I'm just grumbling now. Very, very grumble. So we'll just end it like this. For anything and everything that is the ODPH, you can find it at ODPHpodcast.com. That's it for this week. So for the one only Padawan J.
Fuck the Astros.
I'm your host, Ken. I'm still bitter about hockey. So we're just going to end it like that. Thank you as always for listening to the ODPH podcast. See you next time.
It's such waste of time swiping left and swiping right on people you could know. 'Cause anyone who's worth a damn be worth way more than a picture could ever show. You could find the right light, find the right angle, and never find your soul. And it can feel like a losing battle, and this plot is full of holes. This modern way of finding love just makes me feel so alone. And I can't be the only one sick of staring at my phone. So look up, talk to me, a better way to spend our energy. Just look up, talk to me. We don't have to float alone on the open sea. Don't know that I believe in the old time fable. Everyone has just one true love. All I know is you're across this table, and you're all I'm thinking of. So look up, talk to me, a better way to spend our energy. Just look up, talk to me. We don't have to float alone on the open sea. Talk to me. It's such waste of time swiping left and swiping right on people you could know.